What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Saturday morning episode of the Daily Juice podcast with me, Matt Perrault, at Sports Talk Matt, to follow me on Twitter. This podcast being brought to you by BetMGM. The first bet offer is there for you to use for new users, a $1,000 first bet offer with that promo code JUICE when you sign up for a new account with BetMGM at BetMGM.com. Okay, back here in Las Vegas. I am tired. It's 11 o'clock Pacific time. I just rolled into town. Nothing is set up. I'm not unpacking the car. I'm just banged up. I came right in here to tell you guys what I am betting coming up here for a Saturday. I got a bunch of plays. I got a moneyline parlay. I got two plays in UFC 284 in both main events, the main event and the co-main, that I'm going to tell you about. And then I have another NHL play. Hockey's not been going great, but up and down. Hockey, we got a loss last night. The Ducks got killed by the Penguins. Kind of a bummer there. We took the puck line. We did not clear that. Parlay lost. Should have gone all overs. All three of those games had a gift in it, a goal in the first 10 minutes. If I bet all three, that would have cashed. The problem, betting all three would have been just a plus 400 parlay. That does not qualify for the Don't Bet a Parlay on a Friday. So we missed it, 0-1 for the return for me with the Daily Juice podcast. So we're down 0.45 units. Little less than half a unit down on the day. So losing day, not horrible, not awful, but definitely still a time for us to recover here to have a winning week on Saturday and on Sunday. Now, the Super Bowl is on Sunday, okay? So let's just completely, take a look at this from like a big picture perspective, and we'll have a ton on tomorrow's podcast for the Super Bowl. I got bets and picks and plays and things we're going to get into. But Saturday's slate is so good, I don't want to just bet Sunday because Saturday is so good. The Super Bowl is a big day, but it really is just another game in a lot of ways. At least from my bankroll's perspective, I don't go crazy. I just kind of keep it rolling. So these are the things you do when you're talking about being a successful bettor or trying to be one, talking about just one more game. It's just another game, and you guys can learn all about your betting habits with a premium upgrade to BettingPros Premium. You could win one free year of this very cool service from BettingPros simply by subscribing to this YouTube channel and commenting below, because when you do, you could win a free upgrade to BettingPros Premium, whether you're looking to access exclusive picks, top-rated player props, or custom analysis of your betting performance. BettingPros Premium has all the tools to help you cash more bets, plain and simple. Don't want to wait for this giveaway? Well, sign up today at bettingpros.com/upgrade and start betting smarter, not harder. Okay, so let's get into it here. B's and C's. Well, the Celtics are normally the B's and the C's parlay that we're going to oftentimes play this. However, you got a big slate of games here on a Saturday, and if you want to do a B's and C's parlay, well, you can't because Boston's not playing. But you can play Creighton if you want to go with the Bruins on the money line and the Creighton Blue Jays on the money line. Bruins are at home with their 22-1-3 sparkling record up against the Capitals, who are 13-12-3. This is the first game for both these teams since coming back for the All-Star break. Boston has played pretty tough against the Capitals over the last couple of years, including a 5-2 win in Washington in the only game these two teams have played so far this year. Bruins money line paired up with the Creighton Blue Jays up against UConn. Now, when UConn played Creighton earlier this year, that was the first time Dan Hurley had ever beaten Greg McDermott, ever. Before that, Creighton, I should say. Before that, Mac was 5-0 against Dan Hurley since being the coach of the Creighton Blue Jays. This is a sold-out Tri-Center here. 19-6 UConn, 8-6 in Big East play. They are leaking oil, but they did get a big win over Marquette on Tuesday, 87-72. Huskies have started the year 14-0, but have lost 6 of 8. They've rebounded a bit, and they've won their last 3. You've got a phenomenal team with the Creighton Blue Jays, who now are playing up to their full potential. But with Greg McDermott being 5-1 against Connecticut and 5-2 all-time against Dan Hurley, this is payback time. The line's 5. It's perfect. I think the Jays are going to win the game. I'll take the money line, Creighton money line, Bruins money line, parlaying them together. It's a plus 127 parlay. We're putting 1 unit down on a B's and C's with a Creighton Blue Jays parlay. Bruins money line, Creighton money line, plus 127 for 1 unit. Now, to hockey. The Devils are phenomenal on the road. Just an absolute wagon on the road. And this team for the Devils, overall 34-13-4. They're going back on the road. This is the first game of this road trip for the Devils, and they get to go and test this 19-3-2 record on the road, which is the best in the NHL, tonight up against the Minnesota Wild, who are 15-9-1. Nothing to shake a stick at here. Minnesota's not bad at home, but 3 straight losses for the Wild. 3-2 against Arizona, 4-1 against the Dallas Stars, and 5-1 against the Vegas Golden Knights. And frankly, the Wild look horrible in that game against Vegas a couple of nights ago. The Devils are on the other side. They've won 3 games in a row, 3-2 win against the Dallas Stars, 5-4 win against Vancouver, and a 3-1 win over Seattle. Moneyline is even money at the moment here in this game, and I think this is a little bit mispriced. I'm not fully understand where we're going with this, but even money with a team that's 19-3-2. I know the Wild are desperate for a win, but you can bet the streaks on both sides, losses and wins. Devils, Wild. I'm taking New Jersey on the money line, even money for 1 unit. Devils to get a money line victory up against the Minnesota Wild. All right, let's talk about UFC 284. Let's start with the co-main event. And boy, do we have a couple of wacko, wonderful fights to get into and break down here with really tough guys, really tough fighters. Yair Rodriguez up against Josh Emmett. I think Josh Emmett is in trouble in this game, this fight. But it's pretty expensive. It's minus 185 for Yair Rodriguez, who's 15-3 in the UFC, or with professional, I should say. Emmett's 18-2. Now, Josh Emmett's had a pretty good run. He beat Burgos, he beat Ige, he beat Cater in a war. But the fighters that we've seen with Rodriguez, my goodness, Stevens, Holloway, Ortega. The Ortega win was really impressive. Average fight time for Rodriguez is 13:30. Average fight time for Emmett is 13:10. This is a 5-round fight for the interim featherweight title belt in Perth. This is an afternoon card in Australia, U.S. time. Check that, okay? It's not a night fight, not a night card. It's a day card, which I absolutely love. This fight, I think, is going to go the distance. I think these guys are both so difficult to stop. They're so difficult to finish. And a lot of these fights go the distance. I mean, against Stevens, it went the distance. Against Holloway, it went the distance. Now, Brian Ortega got knocked out in the first round against Rodriguez in his last fight, but that was back on June 16th of 2022. It's been a while. Josh Emmett his head's like a bowling ball. He had his last 3 fights have all gone the distance against Burgos, Ige, and Cater. Last fight was a 5-rounder that went the distance in June of 2022. Cater is a tough competitor, just like Rodriguez. These guys are so difficult to stop. It's minus 130 to the over 4.5 rounds. I'm not sure who wins. I think it's going to be Rodriguez, but I'm going to go the over 4.5 rounds here. Minus 130 for the over in the co-main event for this interim belt. Over 4.5 rounds. I think we probably go to the cards here in this fight. Minus 130, 1.3 units down to win 1 unit coming back. And for the main event, we've got Islam Makhachev against Alexander Volkanovski. I was Octagon side when Volkanovski should have been choked out by Brian Ortega, but he somehow got out of it. The guy can take pain. The guy can take a beating. The guy is physical. He's strong. Average fight time of 16:50 for Alexander Volkanovski. Makhachev is an absolute warrior. Average fight time of 9:06. But he's fighting a smaller guy who I think is going to pose some problems here. I don't know if Makhachev gets him on the ground. If he does, can he submit him? I don't know. Ortega couldn't. Makhachev is a big fighter. He's going to be difficult in the lightweight division. This is a title fight here, but a smaller man moving up for this fight. I don't know. I think Makhachev's going to win this fight. He's a heavy favorite, but when does he win this fight? The total is 2.5 rounds, meaning this fight must go into the third and go halfway through the third round for this bet to cash. But I think it's going to. I think Volkanovski is going to be too tough of a component. Look, they both fought an incredible list of fighters. I just think it's going to be difficult to stop Alexander Volkanovski. He just is, against Max Holloway, went to the cards. Against Ortega, went to the cards. 4.5 rounds for his last fight before that. Yes, he's smaller. Yes, he's moving up in a weight class. Doesn't stop the chin from being tremendous and him for being an incredibly difficult out. Over 2.5 rounds, minus 150. I'm going to lay the 1.5 units down. Over 2.5 rounds for Alexander Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. Think that Islam wins the fight, but he could go to the decisions or maybe in the later rounds gets a late submission if Volkanovski gets tired. That's how I lean, but I'm going to go over 2.5 rounds here in this one for Makhachev and Volkanovski. All right, 4 bets going on a Saturday. Lots of fun to come at you. We're going the B's and the C's, Bruins and the Creighton Blue Jays moneyline parlay at plus 127. The Devils moneyline on the road here. Even money for the Devils against the Wild. Over 4.5 rounds in the co-main event for UFC 284 at minus 130. And over 2.5 rounds in the main event at minus 150. We're going to lay the 1.5 units down on that. Lots to come. I'll give you a full breakdown and preview of the Sunday show for the Super Bowl coming up on Saturday's podcast, or Sunday's podcast rather, for Saturday when I tape it. But for now, let's have a good Saturday and head off into Super Bowl Sunday. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast being brought to you by BetMGM.